resting securely on the floor. You may need to bring the floor up to your feet by placing blankets or books or a pillow. You want to have that support. We don't want your feet dangling. So I wanted to start this morning, before we began, by coming back to the vagus nerve. We talked about that the other day. The vagus nerve is in control of our parasympathetic nervous system. It runs from roughly the diaphragm, the base of the belly, up to the brain stem, and it's connected with all kinds of organs and functions within the body. And the big point from Tuesday was there's a theory that there's a dorsal system within the vagus nerve and a ventral system within the vagus nerve. The dorsal system is the fight or flight instinct about which we are all aware. The dorsal system is typically has a finite ending, like, oh my God, I'm gonna crash my car, or, oh, I think I'm gonna fall off my bike, or it's just some sort of a threat or a fear that has a finite ending. And when the fear does not have a finite ending, but yet that system is revved up in fight or flight, what happens is we disassociate because we can't cope. So the ventral vagus nerve, as this article is theorizing, taking on the idea of fight or flight, it's rest and digest. And it's that sense of peace when we feel safe, when we feel without an imminent threat, when we can rest and digest. And so what we want to do right now, because we are all in a threat situation, and it's the worst kind of threat situation because we have no idea when it's going to end. Because we're in this threat situation, we want to activate the ventral piece of the vagus nerve system so that we're sending constant messages to our body to rest and digest. And so on Tuesday, we talked about ways to do that, things to focus on in the terms of, number one, tune into your body, take an inventory of your body, notice how you're feeling in your body. Number two, focus on mindful breathing, inhaling and exhaling, particularly with a focus on a longer exhale. The vagus nerve does connect to the vocal cords, and that is part of the inhaling and exhaling. Number three was, what was number three? Breathe, and then, let's see, turn off negative chatter in your brain. So we all have a dialogue, chatter. The term is the shitty committee in your brain. And so we need to acknowledge what that chatter is, and then replace it with something positive and productive. And then the last piece was the social interaction piece, which is what something like this Zoom class is doing for us. So I found this other article about the vagus nerve and ways to stimulate and activate our vagus nerve in a productive way. And one of them is to hum. And so the idea of humming is that the vagus nerve is connected to our vocal cords. So let's hum a song together. I know that sounds silly, but I think we should do it. So I'm going to hum, let's see, You Are My Sunshine. You pick a song and you hum, and we'll just do that for a few moments. So you can do that anytime. 5. All right, so breathe deeply. That was from our first list. Let's breathe in for 4 counts and out for 6 counts. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time, in and out. So, in this particular article, the next piece of advice for activating your vagus nerve is to do yoga. Check. And then the last piece of advice is to engage the diving reflex. So remember, as a child, like when you're just the freedom, the abandon of being a young kid, and you dive into the pool and you push through the water. That is like one of the best experiences in your life. That is a vagus nerve response. Breathing into the water and out. That, for whatever reason, highly activates the vagus nerve. Nerves in the face relay a message via the vagus that creates a reflexive response. This so-called diving reflex regulates your heart rate, increases blood flow to your brain, and relaxes your body. Okay, so here's the fun part. You can replicate the effect by splashing water on your face, cold water on your face, submerging your tongue in a glass of water, or holding water in your mouth. So after class today, try one of those. Splash cold water on your face, or submerge your tongue in a glass of water, or take a big gulp of water and hold the water in your mouth. All of those things activate your vagus nerve. All right, so setting the hips, shoulders, back of the neck in alignment, resting the arms by the side. Let's take a breath in. And let's take a breath out. So Darth Vader style, audibly breathe in. Audibly exhale. Allow your arms to represent the shrugging it off again. And breathing into the top fold. Now arms are parallel, palms are facing each other, reach long. So imagine peeling your ribs off your hips and then lift your shoulders down your back. Now let's go right and left, right and left. Feel the stretch in your side body. Just reach really, really, really tall, really, really tall. Now it's oppositional forces. So anchor down with intention through your bottom. Reach, reach, reach. Now let's cactus our arms. From here, I'd like to focus on keeping the hips square and even the shoulders square. We're going to ring the waistline. So twist to the right, hips stay to the front, peek over your shoulder, come back through the center. So again, twist to the left, keep the hips square, peek over your shoulder, come back to the center. Go again, twist slowly and deeply, Come back to the center. Keep going, please. I'm going to move my hands. So you want to think about hips down and twist through your torso. Come back to the center. One more time each way. And release. So let's take our head, drop the chin towards the chest, and let the head be heavy. Maintaining the drop in the chin, push the spine back, curve the spine, pull the chin to the chest, tuck, tuck, tuck in. What we're doing here, this is called a flexion. We're really strengthening and opening the spine. It's like you're curving around a beach ball here, creating space between your vertebrae. You can even grab onto your knees for a little resistance if you want to pull. So this is our Halloween cat. And then we move to cow. So we do the reverse action. You push through with the heart, push through with the sternum, lift, lift, shoulders loop back and down. We call this an extension. Anchor down through your hips to root up, scoop back, take a breath and find your edge. Exhale, go deeper. And then come back to center. So neutral stacked spine. We want to take those cat-cow flows and we really want to feel, the word that I like to use is undulating. You want to feel the undulating, the articulation of the spine. So here we go. Breathe in, cow. Sweep the back. Loop the shoulders back. Lift. Breathe out. Hold here. Hold in your cat. Breathe in your cat. Belly to spine. Breathe out and roll. Hold here for a breath cycle. And here we go with the flow. Breathe into cat. Out to cow. Breathe in. Breathe out. Nurturing the spine with each flow, making sure to notice, to feel the stress and the stiffness breaking down. Let's do 2 more and work to your edge. So exert your will. Get a little bit higher in the spine. Exert your will. Ask for more extension. One more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. And release. So let's take our hand, lengthen up, tip the head to the side, pause here. We're looking for you to lift, think up and over, creating space on the side. So don't collapse down like this. Still be strong. You've got your palms against your thighs. Actively work for that stretch. So a lot of yoga comes from choice. It comes from actively exploring. So you can reach the fingertips away. So the head and the fingertips are reaching in opposite directions, creating the length along this diagonal line. Now root up through your hips. Be strong, be supported, stretch. Take one more breath. and out. So let's go the other way. Again, the length first. So breathe in, lift the crown of the head. Breathe out, cascade over, settle. In yoga, we're always looking for those places where there's effort and where there's ease. Mindfully tuning in, being present. Oppositional forces here. And release through the center. So let's move a little bit into the hips. I'd like you to open your feet widely. So the reason I want the feet wide is so that we can get our deepest forward fold. So we're going to bring our belly between our thighs, place the hands to the floor beneath you. If the floor is not available, you may absolutely clasp onto your legs somewhere that works for you. Then I want you to let your upper body be heavy. You want to think about gravity being your partner here. Let the head be heavy. So surrender the crown of the head to the floor. Hold this position here. It's also an inversion where we can flood blood to the brain. So hold. Now I'm rocking a little bit side to side and pressing my arms into my legs and prodding a stretch into the hips. So you do the same. Just hang out there, keep going, make that feel good. I'm gonna come up here for just a minute. Are you guys, I took you off mute for a second to ask you, did you hum?
Yes.
Yes.
You are my sunshine, right along with you.
Okay. All right, so go ahead, surrender back down into that fold. And yeah, I wanted to make sure you can hear me okay. So yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll gently roll up, place hand to thigh, pull yourself on up, narrow out your legs. So I'd like to move into some sweeping sun salutations to build some warmth. When the body is warm, we can access greater flexibility. We also really create that sense of magic that comes from movement and breathing. So I'd like to run through some sun salutations with you in seated, and then we're going to actually move into some strength work for the arms and for the legs. Okay, so I was listening to, going back and watching some of my videos, and I need to just concede that it is a very humbling experience to look back at these videos, and sometimes I don't like the tone of my voice, and I'm really not trying to do it intentionally. So I'm trying to tap into a more yogi voice. I taught middle school for 15 years, so I have a very commanding voice in front of a crowd because I had to control a 13-year-old voice, and I need to find a more yogi voice. Anyway, arms by the side. Inhale to reach high. Exhale to reach forward. So pause here in this forward place. This is a reach. You're reaching out of your hips. Eyes are down. So this is an unsupported forward spinal flexion. It's a strength move. You're having to use the muscles of your core to hold your torso in this position and then release down into your fold. Sweep the arms by the side. We're rolling all the way to the top. So inhale to rise. Start your exhale, reach forward, pause at the halfway point, activate the core, pull your belly in, take another breath. Inhale. Exhale and fold all the way down. Let's do that again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pause. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe into your full height. Breathe out. Pause. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hold here. Place your left hand down. Place your right hand on your knee. We're going to twist and stack the shoulders looking up. And you can extend the top arm if you like. Sweep that down. Switch to the other side. Sweep that down. Spin the palms towards me. Inhale to rise. Exhale to reach. Inhale to stay. Exhale to release. Inhale to twist. Exhale to hold. Inhale. Exhale. Hold for another breath cycle. And release. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, hold. Straight to the other side. Inhale, open. Exhale, hold. Release down. Hand to thigh, hand to thigh. So in a seated position, lift your right leg up, cross the ankle over the knee. This is a seated figure four. It's also a variation of pigeon pose, swan pose from Yin Yoga. It's that figure four position. So anytime we're in a position like this, you can flex your foot to turn on the tendons and ligaments to support the knee. So if you find you get in this position and it hurts, try a flex on the foot. And if you're still in this position and it still hurts, we don't want to stay where we have pain. But first acknowledge the difference between pain and being stiff. It's a difference. The option is to cross the ankle. Okay, once we're in, we've had a moment to sort of, so it's kind of like when you get into a pool and the water's really cold, you kind of take your time. At least I do. Some people jump right in. And you give yourself a moment to acclimate. So you've had your moment to acclimate, and then we decide to commit to the work. So then we begin to press into the knee, kind of prodding the thigh bone longer. You can even lift from the underside of the leg up and get a whole new stretch like this. Now I'm lifting, but I don't want to sink in rounds and take on bad posture. I still want to come back to the strength of my core, constantly engaging your core. Now, if we had a block, you could rest the block here and put your foot on that. I'm going to fist my hand and rest my ankle on my fist. Now, I'm notoriously tight hips, so this feels like an absolutely beautiful stretch right now. Let's take another deep breath. Now we're going to fold over this bent leg to deepen the stretch. So anchor down first. Try not to let those hips creep off of the chair bottom. Take a breath in. Exhale, start your fold. Move with patience and kindness. Take your time. Drape your torso over the bent leg. Ow! And maybe we should hum again right here to indicate to our vagus nerve to relax so we can go deeper. And let's work into the other side. Part of the piece of relaxing is tuning into your body and noticing the feelings and sensations in your body. I taught a cardio Pilates class last night, and I am really sore today, and I can feel it. I can feel it in this position. I don't know if you can tell because my chair is flat, but this knee is much higher up in the air than the other side. I'm going to start my pressing action and start asking for that hip to open. I can literally feel how this is breaking up the tension in my muscles. We hold a lot of junk in our trunk. Think of your trunk, your booty as your basement, and all of the junk we throw down there that we really just want to get rid of. That's what we're doing. We're getting rid of all that junk. Now, I'm lifting some height to my leg so I can ask for a little more release in this way. So I've got my fist, I've got my ankle against that fist. I actually, you know that circular bone right there, I actually have that in the round part of my fist. Just like a perfect little opening for it. Oh, that feels good. So the hard part with this is the fold. So let's get the spine long first. Exhale, start your fold. Find that initial point of resistance and pause, and then work more deeply. I'm going to release that, and I'm going to hum one more song. Tell me if you know what it is. Oh, that stretch. Did you know what the song was?
No.
Here Comes the Sun. It was. Now everybody hum together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's all right. Okay, you can release and sit back up. I'm muting you again. So we've loosened up the hips. Now let's just get a little bit of waking up into our quads. Scoot over to one side of your chair. So you've got one thigh bone, your buttocks is on the chair. Sweep this leg off and bend your knee. Now, if you can get your knee down to the floor, that would be ideal, would be your knee down on the floor. If for any reason that hurts, obviously don't go there. You can tuck your toe and hold your knee off. You can also cushion with a blanket or a towel or a pillow. Now, what I'm looking for is you to take your hips and push them forward. So we're looking to open the front here. Inhale the corresponding arm over high. So up high with the corresponding arm. Breathe in and up. Exhale and curve yourself over. Now, you can lift that toe off and take the stretch with the knee off. If you feel strong today, you can completely lift off the chair, have it there for balance. For me, I feel it more deeply by lifting. I am not actually touching the chair, but I can rest my hand for balance. And even if you don't need the hand for balance, try resting it anyway, because that support will allow you to access a deeper stretch. We are stretching. We're not building strength, we're stretching. And release. Now, have a seat with that leg free on the side of the chair. Bring that leg forward. Soften your knee. So soften the knee. Don't block out the knee. Fold over the straight leg and stretch your hamstring. Pull your toes towards your shin, but bring the body over the hamstring and then press actively. Determine, decide to get the stretch on the back of your leg. And release on up. So we'll scoot yourself around to the other side. Starting with that lunge stretch. Option if you need to put your knee down. Option to float, but either way, actively push the knee towards the floor. Lengthen through the front. This is a front line opener. It's a hip flexor stretch, a psoas muscle stretch. Maybe you can levitate off the chair. Work that knee down, inhale the arm up. So this is the length, create the length. We wanna lift up, and then we wanna think up and around like a rainbow. Even in this position, keep the shoulders soft, the elbow all the way to the fingertip softness. Sink in and breathe. And you can release out. Still staying on the corner, the edge of your chair. Extend that leg long. Soft knee. We never lock out our joints. So we never lock out the elbows. We never lock out the knees. Locking out the joints is unnecessary wear and tear in the joint. But also, if you think about stilts, if you lock out your joints, you're resting on your bones. You're using the locked bones to support you up like a stilt or a cane, as opposed to using the muscles to hold you. So soft knee, turn towards that leg and fold your chest, drape your chest over the thigh bone. Find a place to soften. Maybe it's the back of the neck. Maybe it's the space between the eyebrows. Maybe it's the shoulders. Maybe where we need to soften is not physically in the body. Maybe we need to soften our mind, our expectations. And release up. Coming up to a standing position, I'm going to turn side on so that you can see me. I'd like you to have the back of your chair for support and balance. If you don't feel like you need the chair, you're invited to step away from it. Your feet, if you think of your sit bones in your bottom, your heels go straight down and they're directly beneath those sit bones. So hip distance apart with the feet. So I'd like to work into the strength of your calves, your ankles, and the muscles in your feet. Holding onto the chair for balance, roll up onto the balls of your feet and push out of the balls of your feet. And notice what you notice. Number one, don't lock your knees. Keep them soft, a micro bend in the knee. And you should feel stretch in the bottom of the feet. You should feel your calf muscles. and squeeze all the way up into your glutes like a ballet dancer. And then roll down onto your heels and shift back. Pull the balls of the feet off the floor. Flare your toes. Now, actively pull your toes towards your shins, and you'll feel the front of your shin. That muscle is the tibialis anterior. Find it. Inhale, rock up, squeeze. Exhale, rock back, pull. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up and stay. So option 1 is to stay. Option 2 is to do some strength work for your calves and your ankles. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Give it a good shake. Okay, so I'd like to move into some standing core work, some integration of the core and the body moving together. So the back of my chair is here. You would turn side onto your chair back and rest your hand on the chair for balance, or even a counter would work. Simply take your right toe tap forward, your left toe tap forward. So we're going right, left. Now, the point here is going to be we're going to start lifting the leg higher. Speed is not the goal. Elevation is the goal. So start maybe floating the leg. Maybe you're lifting a foot off the floor, meaning 12 inches. Maybe you're lifting 2 feet off the floor. But first, before we start adding more height, notice if you start collapsing over. If you start collapsing over, lower your legs. I want you to keep that dignified posture. Be very still from the waist up. Now, maybe you can lift up to hip height. The goal here would be to lift up to hip height with the long leg. Now, if you want to lift up to hip height, but you just can't get there with the long leg, soften your leg. Every time you pull that leg up, your core is activating. Notice it. Put your hand on your belly and feel it. Let's do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and release. Breathe. All right, with the hands onto the chair, pick a knee, lift that knee up in the air and hold. So you've got a bent knee. Open to the side, pull back through the center. Option, you can be on the floor, front, tap to the side. Front, side, front, side, front, side. Everything we do in yoga is mindful and intentional. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more. 1 more. Let it go. So just a little bit of balance work on the same side. Take the sole of your foot, rest it against your calf. If against the calf is not an option, you can absolutely rest at the ankle with the toe on the floor. The idea is we're going to balance the body onto your left leg. Balance trains our concentration and our focus. Balance is also deep strength work. So focus and concentration, strength in the mind and in the body. Whenever we begin to move the arms, we increase the challenge. Bigger and wider is more difficult because more of your body is against gravity. Pull up through your pelvic floor. And then the hardest of all will be to take some movement. And I'm gonna fall out. That's okay. I always say if you fall out, it means you're testing your boundaries, and that's a good thing. If we don't test our boundaries, we are not going to see improvement. And release. So we'll move around to the other side. You can walk your body around, do whatever you need to do to get there. Same principle, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now I've got a little external rotation on my hip, so I'm not flicking the top of my foot. I'm actually lifting from my inner thigh. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're done. Okay, so resting the foot at the ankle or against the thigh. So this is a perfect example of where locking out the knees is not your friend. So if you sink and lock into your straight leg, which I'm doing right now, you're resting your body weight into your bones, and it's unnecessary wear and tear on the knee joint. Fix that by softening the knee, put a small bend, lift up, think up with all the muscles in the body. Inhale, exhale, and explore your pose the way you feel like going today. So I am pulling up with my supporting kneecap, pulling up with the supporting quadricep, up with the belly button, up with the heart, lengthen the back of the neck, lift the crown of the head. I'm gonna fall, that's okay. Now, if you'd like to play with a little bit of motion, this, by the way, is willow pose. And then you can come back through center. Give it a shake. All right, let's come on down. Roll of the wrists. Pump fingers. Star Trek fingers. We've done these many times. To me, it's working Mindy fingers, by the way. Nanu, nanu. Spread them wide, thumb to pinky. Pinky to thumb. Put your fingers together, and then we'll peel them out one by one, starting with the pinky. So pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb. All right, ankles, give them a roll, point and flex. We're gonna finish here with just a little bit of core work. You can lean back into the chair, long legs. You can simply hold your legs long. You can lift off the chair if you prefer. Either way, you're going to engage the core to hold the legs. Toes can be down. You can have one foot down, one foot off. And you can trade that out. So long spine. I'm actually not touching the back of my chair. If you need that wee bit of support, lean your shoulder blades into it. Use the core, wrap the core muscles around your spine. Lift the legs, hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Resting the hands warmly against the thighs. Slow the breath. Tune into the expansion of the lungs as you feel them. And notice the release as you let go. I do have a little poem I'd like to read to you to finish. I stole this from the Facebook page of a MAC member. Barbara Bowles posted this. I think it was Barbara Bowles. Yes, Barbara Bowles. And it really spoke to me, so I'm going to share it with you, and this is where we'll finish. So maybe you want to close your eyes and just breathe slowly and warmly. Prayer for a Pandemic by Cameron Wiggins Bellum, B-E-L-I-M. No, Bellum. Not sure how to spell that last name. May we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have no risk factors remember those most vulnerable. May we who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May we who have the flexibility to care for our children when their schools close remember those who have no options. May we who have to cancel our trips remember those who have no safe place to go. May we who are losing our margin money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May we who settle in for a quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our country, let us choose love during this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other. Let us yet find ways to be the loving embrace of God to our neighbor. Amen.